Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 251 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, it's going. Are you in like full panic mode now because you're like a week out from your trip?
Not panic mode. Definitely in full packing mode. But we'll get into that.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. First, we actually have a special guest today, don't we?
We do. We have Dani, I forget how many times we've had you on the show. It's been a couple times, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We have so many people on all the time. It's like, I know you've been on a couple times. We've had, Derek, and we've had a lot of people on.
I've lost count too. I mean, it's hard to keep track of it all.
Yeah. So Dani's from DVC Resale Market, who we've worked with for a long time now. And I don't know if you want to give your background. We always have new listeners that shuffle in. So if you want to just kind of talk about, your Disney background in a minute or two here and give people a little bit of your history.
Absolutely. I have a fun little Disney background. I sailed on the high seas for about 10 years. So worked on board the cruise ship selling Disney Vacation Club, which was tons of fun. Got to visit lots of different countries. Also worked a little bit at Walt Disney World as well. And then I decided to leave, take a little break, traveled the world with my fiance for a year. And then I came and worked at DVC Resale Market. So that's my little background.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I know you wanted to kind of talk about a couple of things you guys have going on in the resale market, and we always like to hear like an update on what the overall market looks like and things like that. But I know you had wanted to talk a little bit about, you guys have like a red hot deals thing going on right now.
We sure do. And boy, is it red hot.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So it's been really exciting. We launched the Red Hot Deals on January 21st. We've done this before in the past. It's been very successful. But this time around, I think just because people know about it, when we launched it, it was familiar to them and it just completely took off. So basically what Red Hot Deals is around this time of the year, your annual dues statement comes out and anybody who was thinking about selling their membership just comes a running. And so we usually get a ton of listings around this time of the year. And so what we did to kind of help both the buyer and the seller in this situation is we went to all of our sellers and we said, hey, it's a, really competitive market right now. Typical negotiation on a DVC resale market contract is usually about 5 to 10% off the listing price. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a ton of our marketing dollars from January 21st through February 29th and on this Red Hot Deal promotion. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to mark your listing 10% below the market, and we're going to list it as a Red Hot Deal. So these, when you go to the website and you see these listings, they are no haggle, buy it now, first come, first serve. So the seller has already reduced them 10% below the market. So an amazing deal for the buyer. And then it's also been incredible for the sellers as well, because this promotion has been live for about 2 weeks, and we've sold almost $2.5 million worth of these listings alone in just 2.5 weeks, or in just 2 weeks. So it's been incredibly successful. They go super fast. So if you do go to the website and you look at all the Red Hot deals, you could sort them by Red Hot up at the status at the top. If you see one that you like, just grab it. Full price. It's already marked down. And if you just want to not have to question if you're getting the best deal, these are the listings to look for. And so this will go until February 29th.
Great. Yeah, I just pulled up the website now and I'm just looking at some of the options you have on here. And there's a Riviera, there's some Saratoga out there. There's an Animal Kingdom, but not in the use year that I need. So that's not very helpful.
And then also just keep in mind, so listed a whole bunch of them in the beginning, but you will see, some sellers were like, oh, I don't know. I want to see how it goes before I participate. And so you'll see other listings trickle in. So if there's one that you're really looking for and you don't see it, like I know we've had a few Grand Floridians trickle in the past few days,
Gotcha.
Just keep checking back. So up at the top where you can filter the results, you can sort by status and then just click red hot deals. Just keep checking in on those because we're going to be adding some more, throughout. But obviously if you see the one that you like, go ahead and grab it because it, like I said, first come, first serve. So.
Well, I know for me too, I have the app on my phone, so I have like alerts set up for like 100-point Animal Kingdom contract in the April use year specifically. Mm-hmm. So like anytime that pops up, I get a little alert on my phone that tells me, hey, go check this one out. Although it's usually gone before you can even get to it because you guys sell so fast.
Yeah, so. Especially these. So I would say maybe, put it on your calendar to just check once, twice, 3 times a day, just depending on how much free time you have. But the app is great. Yeah. If you don't have the DVC Resale Market app, it's super helpful if you, kind of have your eye on a certain type of contract.
Yeah, I see a 200-point poly on here, Trev.
Yeah, wrong use here for me, though.
Wrong use here for you. You got to match up those use years. I mean, you don't have to. But, I talked about it on the show before. My biggest mistake ever was buying a different use year. So it's just a little bit more of a pain.
It's not the worst thing. It's just you have to know how to deal with it, right?
Yeah, I just have to talk to DVC more than I want to. I like doing everything through chat. I like doing everything through the website. I don't want to call. Not that they're not nice, but yeah.
Isn't it so funny that Disney's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but yet technology there is just ancient? I mean, when I started working for DVC, we were still using AS400, like the black and green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that system has not gone away. Just I work in IT. It comes across my desk from time to time.
Lots of big corporations still use that really old stuff.
It's just mind blowing to me. Why can't they just add one click, transfer your points from one membership to another? Seems very easy.
That's the only thing that I can't, because I almost do everything exclusively through chat, right? And you can get pretty much everything done through chat except for that,
right?
You have.
A lot of people still like to call, so if that's you, then it won't, be an issue. But yeah, if you're a chatter, I'm a chatter. If you're a chatter, it'll give you another step.
I do enjoy the whole music.
that is one of the good things about stuff like this is that you can get the whole music, which is nice.
Yeah, I just need is there a YouTube channel somewhere of just the whole music from Disney phone lines?
If there's not, you can make one.
I should make one. Yeah. I feel like it would be popular. Because Trevor and I talk about this sometimes. I will listen to the Disney ambiance music sometimes, when I'm doing stuff, and I don't want anything to distract me. So I'll listen to things like that. But so I like I said, I like the whole music too. So it's not always the worst thing to wait on hold with DVC. But like I said, I try not to call. And that's more just because I don't like calling places in general. If I can do things online, if I can do things on chat, that's what I prefer to do. So, okay. Trevor, did you? I see you highlighted market update.
Well, I was just going to ask. So we wanted to talk about the market update. So where do things sit right now in the resale market?
So right now it's a buyer's market for sure. So if you're, thinking about buying, now is the time. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Disney has not been buying back in right of first refusal for the past year. The only thing they've really bought back is Grand Floridian. So that stayed pretty constant. But other than that, definitely a buyer's market. The only thing is DVC just did a price increase on February 1st. So typically we will start to feel that on the resale market about 6 months after a price increase. So we're looking about 3 to 6 months until we start seeing that uptick on our side. But definitely a buyer's market. But at the same time, if you're looking to sell, there are a ton of buyers at the moment. So if you're looking at numbers compared to this time last year, you're definitely looking at a little bit of a decrease from this time last year. However, your contract's probably going to sell way faster than it would have this time last year, just because we have so many buyers at the moment.
Got it.
So sorry, just to clarify, you were saying that the uptick you're expecting is like right of first refusal to come back, or
no, sorry, from
right?
from the price increase, that DVC just did. So we'll usually start to feel prices, kind of follow that a little bit on the resale market about 6 months later.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, so prices will. So it's a buyer's market right now, but it's going to be a seller's market maybe 6 months from now. Maybe, who knows?
Well, I mean, the thing is, we're just like waiting for the monster to wake back up. And that's just the thing, it's been super quiet. If you got a crazy good deal on a contract on the resale market, I mean, I feel very confident that it'll pass, more confident than we've ever felt.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I mean, any day now, Disney could just be like, actually, I want to start buying everything back. I mean, we have no idea what that can look like. Maybe they'll say, we want to start buying Polly back. Maybe they'll say, we want to buy everything back. We have no idea what it'll look like, when it'll happen. I mean, we're all very, very connected over at DVC. We're all former DVC cast members. We have friends that are, very, very high up. None of us know what's going to happen. So all we could do is go off of what we know.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was talking to my DVC guide one time, and I mentioned, I feel like I think I mentioned just resale in general. Didn't say anything. I was saying like, oh, I know somebody that does, that has like the, does the resale, and they're like, Nick, and I'm like, yeah.
You're like, oh, I know somebody. Just
like, everyone knows
somebody. No, we're all. I mean, look, like we're all friends. Yeah. The thing is, like, they need us just as much as we need them. If they're not doing well, we're not doing well. If we're not doing well, they're not doing well. So
they have bought back, like, so there was a while where they didn't buy back anything, right? But then I feel like recently they bought like a couple. Didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah. So a few months ago, they had bought a couple. Animal Kingdom. There was like a few others, other resorts here and there. Now we've really just only seen Grand Floridian. And they have bought back a little bit more than they were when they first started buying back, but it's nothing crazy. We just don't know. Some months are a little bit more than others. So we're just waiting to see what happens.
I just pulled up the DVC Resale Market blog, and the right of first refusal report, and there was one contract bought back in all of January, and that was a Grand Floridian contract. So.
Yeah. And then like the month before, I believe it was about 4.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, we're taking full advantage of the fact that they're not buying back right now. I mean, we have all these numbers on our website. If you guys are ever curious, like we post everything. We want you to be super educated. So average sale prices, ROFR reports, they're all on our website. If you just go on the search in the right-hand corner and just type in average sale, you'll see what the average sale prices have been for over the past year. And so if you look at prices now compared to this time last year, I mean, we're getting away with some crazy, crazy deals. If we were talking this time last year, these would have just never passed ROFR. So it's like, what's the point of even putting an offer in this low if I know for a fact Disney's going to buy it back? Now we don't have to worry about that. So we're just sneaking in as many good deals as we possibly can right now until they decide to wake up the monster.
I feel like this may be because they're focused on the Fort Wilderness cabins.
Yeah, I mean,
it feels like that's like kind of what's keeping this at bay, right?
And the soon to be finished Poly Tower and Disneyland Hotel, and
right.
I mean, they got a bunch of them. I mean, this is probably, Dani, I think this. I've heard other people say that this is the most resorts that they've had on sale at once, like new resorts,
exactly.
like direct.
Yeah, and so they're not even all on sale yet, but at least talk about it, and you could drive past the Polynesian and see this big building going up, and so it's a lot of exciting new things coming up, a lot of inventory, and it's there's a few different things. Also, about 2 years ago, Disney bought back, oh my goodness, like everything that they could. They were buying back everything in ROFR. So I think they're also sitting on a lot of inventory. So I don't know that the timing, I don't know who made that decision to buy all of that back in ROFR during that time, knowing that all of these new resorts were coming out, in about a year to 2 years. Yeah. But I think it's just a combination of that.
Mm-hmm. We've been laughing about the cabins because like they haven't put like a single cabin down yet, and they're opening in 5 months or 4 months. It's like wait a second. I mean, we knew they were going to build them off site and put them in place, but I mean, you're talking like hundreds of cabins, and not one of them is built yet.
Yeah, they do need time to actually install them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do.
I don't know. Maybe they'll just like take a crane and just drop them right
Plop
in.
It down.
I hope the plumbing and the electrical's all sound.
Can you imagine just driving by one day, there's absolutely nothing, the next day they're like, we're open for business?
Yeah, it's so weird, right? I saw somebody post that they expect over the next couple of weeks and months here to just see a bunch of people taking pictures of fully built cabins on the back of flatbeds making their way over to Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, which I'm
that's
sure
what
I said like 2 weeks ago.
I forget who said it. Yeah, so yeah, it was you. Okay.
It'll be like when they decorate the park for Christmas. Like one day there's nothing, the next day overnight.
The overnight. Yeah.
The overnight. Yeah. Wait, there weren't cabins here yesterday. Now there's cabins all over the place. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm sure that they know what they're doing with this. I know they're not all opening at once.
They've done this a time or two before. So
the cabins are interesting to me because I'm wondering how those are going to end up being priced on the resale market at some point, because I don't want to say that they're not. I mean, I don't know if we call them a value accommodation, but I feel like it's not a deluxe, right? It's almost like DVC doing the first like moderate resort. I guess, but I'm just wondering if that's going to be priced differently, because we've seen now the point charts they're pricing them almost like studios, and even though they sleep 6 people and they're bigger than studios, but I'll just be interested to see what that's going to look like when they hit resale at some point.
I think that's the main thing, is that it sleeps 6, because just from being a DVC guide for so long and talking to thousands and thousands of families, like families of 6, like the second I hear someone has 6 people in their family, I'm like, okay, can you pick some favorite children? Because this is gonna make your Disney trip so much harder and more expensive. And these families, they would do anything to be able to stay on property, but it kind of prices them out having just, one extra person in their family. The studios that sleep 5 are incredible. 1-bedrooms that sleep 5 are incredible for families of 5, but it's just that 6. When you add that 6, it's so much more challenging. So I have already seen, on a lot of the blogs and stuff, a lot of people talking about how they don't care what the price is going to be. They're just going to buy it because of that 6 person. But we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting. I know the dues are really high there, so that kind of offsets it. I think it's really for a specific type of family. I don't think it's going to be for everybody.
Well, I mean, and with the way that they did the point charts on them, I because at first, Damon's not on today, but Damon was like, he was out with the fact that 6 people have to share 1 bathroom, which fine. But he also thinks that there should be 1 bathroom for each person in every room that he stays in, which is crazy.
And a butler.
And a butler. Yeah. But like, I mean, I've done a studio with 5 people before. So what's one other person that we have to share the bathroom with, But I mean, the whole Fort Wilderness thing is just it's very interesting to me. It's very, I guess I didn't expect it to happen. So
it's definitely, I think it's for a specific type of family, I definitely, I don't think it's going to be for everyone. I mean, growing up, my family, I would have slept in a bathtub if I could sleep on property. So I feel like I would have just taken anything I could get, but I feel like
they're going to be surprisingly popular, honestly, because of the way they're priced, and I don't know. I think they're going to be popular.
I've got a speculation question for you, Dani.
I like it.
When do you think you'll see your first resale contract for
Fort Wilderness?
And you don't have to answer this. We just like speculating.
We like speculating.
So.
No, I can answer it. I mean, because obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. This is speculation for me too, but I would say within a month.
Wow, is it that quick?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody has buyer's remorse that quickly.
I mean, that's what we saw with the villas at Disneyland Hotel.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel in my head, I feel like April seemed like the earliest to me. Like, people get like, this first month and then, maybe by end of March, they decide they want out. But the first month is very surprising. But I guess, yeah, like you said, at the Disneyland Hotel, people did the same thing. So
here's the thing about resale. And this is honestly just why I love my job so much. Life happens. Nobody goes into DVC thinking that they're going to sell, but life happens. And there's so many other timeshares out there that you get in and good luck getting out. With this, you can get out. I mean, it's fairly easy to get out. So, just giving people the freedom to be able to do that when they might be struggling with something really difficult in their life is, super rewarding to me. I mean, most of the time when people are selling, they don't want to sell. It's just something going on in their life. And a lot of times they even come back and they rebuy when things are a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that we're going to see that first contract within a month because they're going to be like, oh, I hate this resort. It's awful. I hate that, I made the worst decision. I just think that life happens. And, we have a few Disneylands right now. And that's just what we are usually hearing is just something unexpected happen. Yeah.
Thank you for correcting my perspective on that. Actually, I was thinking of it purely from like, why would you get out of it? But yeah, you're right. People don't always want to get out of it, but if they have to, it's nice to have the option.
I didn't have that perspective until I came over here. I was like, oh, they must hate it. Like, that's awful. I was like, especially when I was a direct guide, I only spoke to people who loved their membership. I was working on the cruises. So the people that I was talking to were already on a Disney vacation. So they love their membership. And so I was like, who sells this? Like, but
you're talking to the biggest fans. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, life happens. And a lot of times, genuinely most of the time they turn around and buy again when life kind of mellows out a little bit.
And Dani, feel free not to answer this question because I did prepare you with this question. So putting you on the spot here. What do you think DVC is going to do with this whole trust thing that has been talked about?
Oh my goodness. That is the question.
That is the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's okay. So I know that it's trending in the timeshare world. I know different companies do it a little differently. And I also know that Disney does not like to do things the way every other timeshare does it. So I am interested to see what they'll do because I know how it's done on the outside world, but I also know that Disney's not going to do it exactly that way. So I'm just curious to see what they're going to change about it, how they're going to Disneyfy it.
Disneyfy it. I like that.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little pixie dust on it.
You remind me. I have a picture in my. It's a print, obviously, but it's of the some of the first designs of Disneyland, right? Of Main Street, and on the bottom it says designed, but it says DIS, like it says it designed,
yes,
by whoever, and that every time I see that, it makes me kind of laugh, but yeah, you just reminded me that when you said Disneyfied, so no speculation on what you think that's going to look like because we've been kind of talking about it. Obviously, we don't. I mean, we kind of understand, I think, the general concept of it, but it's weird to me that they've filed paperwork and stuff for this and done nothing with it.
Yeah, but they love to do that. I mean,
it's true.
They love to keep us hanging. And
they do.
I mean, just from working there for a while and kind of being in on all of the behind the scenes, most of the time it's genuinely because things change literally by the second there. So
sure.
Even if they have an idea of what it will look like right now, I'm sure it will change 5,000 times before it actually gets brought to the public. So
If it even gets brought to the public, right? It might never happen.
If it even gets, exactly. Yeah. So it's really hard to speculate. That's one thing that, I just, having worked for Disney, I find very difficult because I never want to give wrong information. Never want to lead people to believe something, especially because I sell the product. I don't want you to buy it with the mindset of this or that is going to happen. So it's hard for me to not give very, very factual information. I like to leave that up to the public to discuss.
I'll ask one more speculative question.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, no speculation.
Where do you think they're going to put the new lounge that they're going to build? Do you have any inside information on this? Because
in the castle. I want it in the castle.
There's not enough space in there.
Listen, we can make
just
anything.
Move out that nice room that they've got up there that they don't use.
Yeah, that people stay in once every 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
We don't know. We speculated on this. I mean, while Magic Kingdom would be great, I mean, if you're gonna do it in Magic Kingdom, it's got to be a lot bigger than the EPCOT one, right? I'm
still betting on the Alien Encounter building. That's my
just
bet.
Tear out all the stuff in Alien Encounter and put it there. I mean, if they did that, it's plenty of room. But I don't know. We don't really know.
You know what would be so cool? There is this room. I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about that.
No, please talk about it.
Okay.
We won't say it was you.
Yeah,
so
it's a secret. No one listens to this. So
there's this room inside Spaceship Earth that you can't I don't know exactly how I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how they do this, but you can see out, but nobody can see in, and you could see the entire park, the entire entrance of the park.
Is that lounge? It was like a Chrysler lounge or something like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
GM.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
So we used it several times for different, events or meetings that we had when I was with DVC, award ceremonies, that kind of thing. That would be cool.
Then you have 2 EPCOT lounges, though. I feel like they need to spread the love to other parks.
If you saw this thing, though, you wouldn't care.
Oh, no, I'm not against, right? I'm pro.
I mean, maybe the trade-off is we do lose the lounge at the Imagination Pavilion, but we get the lounge at Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
That's actually a fair point. I didn't think about there might be a trade happening.
And also, the thing with the lounge is it's cool to be able to, chill out, charge your phones and, get a soda. But I think there's also this aspect of you get to experience something that nobody else does. Everybody always wondered what's in that building. And so I don't think people will care that there's 2 lounges.
I feel that way about Top of the World whenever I've gone to Top of the World and you get in that special little elevator and they take you up. It's it feels very exclusive, you know? And that's kind of how it feels too with the lounge, right? I don't know. I just hope that they put it in another park, so there's more lounges. And I mean, to your point, Trevor, they didn't really say that it was going to be in addition. They just said they're building a new lounge, right? So
we weren't thinking of it that way. So I like your take on it, Dani.
I really have no idea, but that would be cool. And I know that there are just so many of those types of hidden rooms, per se, that are all around the park that they could do it. And so a lot that I probably have never even been in before. It'll be interesting to see.
I personally would love to see one at Animal Kingdom just because I know, and my wife always says this, and I know other people say it, that they feel like it's the hottest park, meaning temperature wise. Yep. So it would be good to have it there just so you can take a break in the air conditioning and,
just get like a watering hole.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you could call it. Yeah, I like it. That's all. Go ahead.
Sorry, just one last thing on that. It's really funny you mentioned, Dani, that Tom and I were trying to figure out places to put the lounge, but you bring up a good point that there is a lot of spaces that we know what's publicly available,
right.
But obviously you've seen being that you worked for Disney, you've seen kind of behind the scenes. And, I'm sure there's lots of spaces that we have no idea even exist and wouldn't know exist until they're like, oh, here's a lounge, right?
Yeah. So you know how usually when you work, especially for a big company, there's a lot of employee areas that, you step in and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm clearly in the employee area. This looks nothing like the outside. So obviously there's a little bit of that at Disney, but there's also some incredibly just awesome spaces for cast members as well, where they hold different meetings and events and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential.
All right.
Awesome.
That's all the speculation that I have for you right now. But, I think you wanted to also talk about the swap program really quickly though, and I want to make sure that you get all that stuff in. So, I mean,
yes. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually just got back from Europe. I was there for 3 weeks. Well, I did 2 different trips to Europe in the past 9 months.
Oh, wow.
And my most recent one was to the Christmas markets. So we went to 5 different Christmas markets over there.
Oh, wow.
And what inspired this trip was I went on Adventures by Disney's website and I was just scrolling through for inspiration on, different trips to do during the winter. And I came across a river cruise that takes you to the Christmas markets. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to, film something over there about the swap program. So if you don't already know, the swap program essentially allows you to take your DVC points and swap them for Disney cruises, Adventures by Disney, if you want to stay at Universal Studios, different vacation rentals. There's lots of different options that you could do. And so I went over there and I did some vlogs per se, and it talks all about the different markets that you can visit on an Adventures by Disney trip using your points. And what I love about this program is whether you bought direct or you bought resale, you can use the swap program, but it's so much cheaper to do the swap program versus exchanging your points directly through Disney. So it's about half. So let's say you wanted to go on a Disney cruise and it was going to be 200 points per person. You would pay 200 points per person plus a $95 exchange fee. With the swap program, essentially all we're doing is renting out your points on the back end. But it's about half of what it would be to, trade your points direct with DVC. And there's no $95 exchange fee. Same with Adventures by Disney. And so if you go over to our YouTube channel, you'll see there's one video posted so far about my Christmas market trip and, the different things you could see on that specific trip. There will be 4 more videos coming out. Wow. And then over the summer, I also did an Italy and France trip, which there will be more videos, just so many videos, but there's a lot. I just want to showcase all the different places that you can visit using your DVC membership. It's not, the DVC resorts are incredible, but there's so much more out there that you could do with your points as well.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think the last time we had Derek on, we made him talk about the swap program. I think he had to study ahead of time, but
So it's so funny because I was over in Germany at the Christmas markets, and so him and Marissa went over to EPCOT, and they were like, "We're here in Germany," and then they throw it over to me, and I'm like, "I'm actually here in Germany."
Very nice.
That's good. That's funny. Yeah. No, I think we were pretty shocked by how much cheaper it is to do the swap when we were talking to Derek, just for I think we looked at a cruise, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, that makes it really worthwhile to do it. It was pretty impressive.
That's the thing. If you're going to do it anyway, especially, oh my gosh, it pains me when I see people using their points to go on a Disney cruise or ABD direct with DVC. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have literally gotten that for you for half the points. So yeah, look into it. Ellie is our swap extraordinaire. She'll be able to help you with all of that. She's incredible. And then it's going to be expanding. So really the sky is the limit with this swap program. If there's a trip that you've always wanted to do, a resort that's not Disney that you've wanted to stay in, just reach out to Ellie and ask her to start looking into it, because we can most likely make it happen. Maybe not right away, but we could most likely make it happen, within the near future for you.
What about Peppa Pig Land?
Look, I'm telling you, I really think like sky's the limit on this. If you want to go to Peppa Pig Land, is this for you or
no? I've had enough of Peppa Pig Land. I've been there twice now, and that was more than I needed to go.
It's actually for me.
Yeah, it's actually Trevor's a big Peppa Pig fan.
But you don't have a British accent. I heard if you watch a lot of Peppa Pig, all of a sudden you start talking in a British accent.
Yeah, that's true.
My daughter watches a fair amount of Peppa Pig and does not do that. She actually, it's more of a Bluey problem these days of saying Australian. It's like that's the bigger problem. But yeah, so no, I'm just joking because every time Derek's on with us, I'm like, when are you guys going to get start selling tickets for Peppa Pig Land?
but I honestly, like, all jokes aside, I think Ellie could actually make that happen for you if you wanted to. So, and then
I've had enough.
Speaking of different parks. Universal, the swap for Universal is insane. Like, you could stay concierge in their nicest hotels over there for like half of what you can stay on property at Disney. So,
oh wow,
yeah, look into that. If you have kids that are maybe getting to the age that they want to try something new, another park, definitely an option. And you could swap for tickets as well.
That's great.
Yeah, that's going to be on my list when Super Nintendo World opens. I've been saying this for a while that like I'm just waiting for that before I spend time at Universal because I don't want to. Or I'm not a big like Universal fan. Like I just don't like the rides and stuff as much. It's a different.
I think if you're listening to this pod, we all feel the same.
It's not that I think
we're not
Universal's rides are bad. It's just they're not my kind of ride.
It's not that it's bad. It's just not Disney.
It's just different.
Exactly. Yes, it's not Disney.
Yeah. So Dani, how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you if they have questions or want to talk to you about anything we talked about today?
Yeah, so my email is Dani, DANI, at dvcresalemarket.com. You can email me. If you have a question that you don't want to wait until I check my email for, just text me 954-257-2425. So that's my direct cell phone number. I have my phone attached to my hand all the time. Text is usually the fastest way to get a hold of me just because I'm usually on the phone 90% of the time too. So if you call me and I don't answer, just send me a text. I'll get back to you right away. So yeah, again, 954-257-2425.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Trevor, I don't know if you had anything else, but
thank you, Dani. It was great talking with you.
Always a blast. And you stay warm over there.
Yes, I will. Don't worry.
It is. I mean, it's a little chilly where I live today. It's in like the 50s, Well, yeah. Trevor, you go by Celsius anyway, so it's a whole different.
That's still like above zero.
Yeah, it's above 0.
50 is like, I want to say like 11 or 12 degrees or something like that.
Okay, well.
It's -5 here right now.
Yeah, in Florida, it's probably like 65 and everyone's wearing winter coats that you guys wear in Calgary. So,
Yeah, I brought my winter jacket out. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I am that girl. I am the one wearing the Uggs and the winter jacket like the second it hits below 70.
That's okay. That's what happens though. My mom lives in Florida and now she's like that too. So
we just, we can only wear it a few times a year. So
exactly,
we got to get our money's worth.
Exactly. I told you can come visit Canada. You'll have plenty of opportunities to wear it.
Yeah, Trevor's going to be downright warm when he goes to Florida, and it's in the 60s next week.
You're going to be one of those crazy people in the pool.
Absolutely. We're going to Blizzard Beach. So.
Thanks again, Dani.
Oh, thank you so much. I had such a blast as always.
Thanks. So great having Dani on as always. She's always a good time. So I appreciate her coming on the show and talking about and speculating on things with us. But I think right now
that kind of went off the rails a little bit. But
well, that's what it does. That's what happens, right? So really quickly here, we're going to do our ad for the sponsor for this episode. Then we're going to talk about Trevor's trip, and I also do want to mention something about my trip, even though it's a couple months out because something kind of funny happened after the last show. So,
all right,
so go ahead and do our ad, Trevor.
Yeah. All right. This week, our sponsor is DVC Rental Store. a World of DVC company that offers magical vacations at an incredible value. You can save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% of the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. As always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most for members looking to rent their points. Want to know more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. When you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. So, Trevor, just before you get into your trip, I know you're going to Disney next week. So last week we had the conversation about the Grand Villa versus separate rooms conversation, right? Yeah. Which sparked a lot of conversation in the group, actually.
It was good. I'm glad to hear people's perspectives on this, because obviously not every family wants to do it the same way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So just to recap, you had a Grand Villa booked, correct?
Yeah, so I had a Grand Villa at Saratoga booked, and we were going to have 10 people staying in it, which was 3 different families. My father-in-law, mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, their 2 kids, and then my wife and I and our daughter and a nanny as well. So it was 10 people, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were trying to figure out how we were going to arrange the rooms and all that. And then this topic came up last week on the show. And as we were talking about it, I was thinking about it, more and more. I was kind of getting my wheels turning. And so then I looked into it. First of all, it's a little last minute to be booking different rooms, but the good thing is Saratoga is huge and has lots of available rooms. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I talk to my wife and maybe we should just do two bedrooms instead of doing the Grand Villa, and then we can all can have our own space and everything. And so I mentioned to my wife, and it's less points, first of all, less points than a Grand Villa, right? Yeah. Okay. So and really, and what got to me was Damon saying, well, like what's the pro? Like he was basically, what's the pro of staying in a Grand Villa, right? And the only thing I can think of is like convenience, right? Like you don't have to go hunt down the other people, but we can. I called up DVC and I got them to link our reservations, so I'm assuming our rooms will be very close together, right? So if not
next to one another, like
hopefully next to each other, right? Saratoga is big enough that I'm sure they can accommodate that. So I said that to my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, why don't we do that?" And that way, we have my brother and sister-in-law stay in one room, and then in one of the 2 bedrooms, and then we'll stay in the other 2 bedroom with my in-laws. And sure enough, that's what we're doing now. So I canceled my Grand Villa reservation, and now we're doing 2 bedrooms at Saratoga. I actually think it's a good choice. The only concern I have obviously is how close the rooms are to each other. But like I said, Saratoga is big enough that even if they are somehow far apart from each other, then I'm sure I could probably hey, we need rooms closer to each other, and they could probably accommodate us in some way. But like I said, I already contacted DVC about making sure that they know we're one big group. So now we're going to do it that way. So I think it's going to work out really nicely. Now the only thing I have left is I got to do dining reservations in about a month here. And we have not really planned what we're going to do yet, but yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that because we had a really long conversation about that on the last show, and it really sparked a lot of conversation in the group, and it literally changed I hadn't thought about doing it that way, and I just hadn't thought that it was going to be a good way to do things. But then after looking into it and seeing that it was less points, I was like, all right, let's do 2 bedrooms. Works for me.
It's funny. Sometimes it's good to it's funny. You start a plan and you're like, this makes the most sense, right? Like you look at everything and you're like, this is how this should play out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a big group of people. This makes the most sense. But it's good to have these conversations. And even if the conversation didn't lean, or if it still didn't make sense at the end of the conversation, it's good to talk through it with different people from different points of view. And I also, for me, like I said, I'm kind of in the same boat as Damon, that I understand the desire to want to have a space where, or not have the ability to separate groups if need be, which I feel is harder with the bigger room, with the 3 bedroom, because it's like you can, people can go off into a room, but you're still all kind of connected by the main living room area.
The main rooms, yeah.
Whereas this is like, if kids, if your daughter is going to bed, it's like you can go over to the other room and still have a conversation and stuff, and you can still have that separation, but everyone's still close enough, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And the 2 bedrooms are big enough that we could all of us can hang out in one space if we wanted to. Like you said, like we could all
Yeah.
hang out in that space and be. I mean, it's not going to be as comfortable as what a 3-bedroom would be, but it's still going to be fine.
I think it'll be perfectly fine, and I'm betting that you're going to subconsciously do this, but you're all going to decide on one room is going to be like your hangout room for the duration of the trip. Like,
exactly.
That'll be like the main meetup room.
It's going to be my room.
Probably.
Like,
yeah.
It's going to be my room. I just know it's going to be. So,
yeah.
I also appreciated, by the way, all the suggestions in the group about taking the pull-out chair bed that they have it. I think some people thought I was staying in Animal Kingdom and they had that pull-out chair bed. They were saying, oh, you should just bring that into the master bedroom and your daughter can sleep there, which is a great idea, but I don't believe they have that bed at Saratoga. So can't really do that. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't realize, I saw that too. I didn't realize that they did that at Animal Kingdom, and I kind of wish that they had that. Like, that would be a
everywhere.
Great, like across the board, like, it's a chair, but then, if you need that one extra bed, you can do that, right? But
yeah. Well, I mean, we might end up staying in the master now. So, I mean, I don't know. We haven't really discussed it yet. We're going to figure it out later, but we'll see what happens.
So that's good. I mean, I'm glad we helped you figure your stuff out, because that's why we do this. That's why we talk about this stuff.
That is why we talk about it. But we should first talk about your we should now talk about your trip, because you are leaving in like a week here, and so you have some. You're in full, packing mode.
So this, after I get off of this podcast, I have all of our suitcases half packed. So like we've, the way that I go about packing, and I know doesn't work for everybody, but I start like a month before the trip, and part of the reason too is, especially right now, literally I'm looking out the window and it's snowing, just to give everybody context that it's cold here. And with that comes the fact that, finding things like sunscreen and stuff is not, I mean, I can order it through Amazon and stuff, but a lot of places don't stock this stuff. So if I need to go shopping around for, sunscreen, or even like, if I need a new bathing suit or something, it's hard to find around here. So hence why we start like a month beforehand, to make sure that we have time to buy whatever we need to get if we're missing stuff for the trip. And then, if we can't find it locally, we of course order it and, get it delivered and all that kind of stuff. And again, even, ordering stuff, like, even though it's Amazon, like, I don't know if you have this problem in the States, but up here, a lot of times it'll be like, oh, a bunch of stuff will be like 1-day delivery, but then certain products, it'll be like, we'll order it and it'll be like, oh, that's going to be like a week and a half. And it's just because they don't keep it locally. Right. So it's being delivered from, in the States or something. Yeah. So we're obviously planning, or we've been packing for a while, but today we're going to continue packing, and we're going to get to like 90% done packing, just because there's a couple of things that we can't really pack until like a day or two before. So we're in full packing mode. But then as far as this trip goes, I wanted to highlight a couple of things that, every time we go on a trip, I like to try and do things a little different every time. Like, we have things that, like, once we find something that works, it's like, this is how we're going to do it. But this time I two new things that I'm trying for, like, not Disney specific, but for like planning and helping with the trip is, we're actually trying Mears Connect for our shuttle from the airport to the hotel. So, So Mears Connect, for anyone who hasn't been following along with all the fun, what happened was, Mears used to run the Magical Express. They broke that apart back in 2020, but Mears continued to run their service, and then there was another company that spawned called Sunshine Flyer, and the two were kind of competing. And then just this, I think it was like last September, Sunshine Flyer merged into Mears, and now we have, or they called it Mears Connect. It's basically both of the companies combined together, with the expectation that it's, you're kind of getting the same service as the Magical Express, but obviously you're paying for it. The thing is that the cost of this versus on previous trips we had done the town car shuttle.
Yeah.
This is definitely much cheaper than that. Yeah. So for anybody looking at cost differences, getting your own private shuttle, town car, whatever, that's always going to be more expensive. This is a good, I feel like it's a good economy option. And like I said, we just wanted to try it because it was like, well, we kind of know what to expect. And they do have the option too that you can pay for direct, like this is like the Magical Express where it may stop at other resorts, but if you want to get the direct to resort, again, they make you pay more for that, which actually again puts it closer to like renting a town car. So
they have a fast pass for the Magical Express.
Yeah, but yeah, the thing is it all comes down to cost around there. And
yeah, of course,
we like I said, we wanted to try and save a bit of money on that because honestly it is expensive. And this is this is something that we talked about. We're like, yeah, we're not in a super big hurry to get to the resort. We can just roll with the shuttle and see how it goes, right? And the nice thing is if we don't like it, we can always go back to the town car rental for the next trip. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we like a lot of people, we buy food for our room at the start of the trip. So we get things like breakfast food. So we get like apples and bagels and stuff that we can make for breakfast. And we like to do an order of that ahead of time, which in previous trips, I've always used Instacart for that, which is Amazon, Instacart, all that kind of stuff. They do those food delivery services. But I just stumbled on one I stumbled on a different one this time around that, again, I was like, let's try this out. So it's called Vacation Grocery Delivery Florida, which is one of these companies that has spawned from, post-COVID cast members that, kind of started their own business. And so it's kind of like, I guess like Dizzy Dolphin or, one of those services where, you give them your order and then they'll go and buy everything and then deliver it to the resort. So I've placed an order with them. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it doesn't go completely sideways. It seems like, these people are running these businesses, obviously they want to make sure that, they're keeping people happy. And, they've, and just to be upfront, they've been very good. Like, I sent them, or I got a quote from them initially. They were very quick to communicate, and they've got their contact information, everything on there. So if something does happen, I know that, I can reach out to them and try and resolve it. But, worst case scenario, I can always, find the nearest Walmart and go buy stuff if I need to as well. But I'd much rather get my stuff delivered to the resort up front if I can. And that's the plan right now. So, so those are the two big things that I'm doing different this trip. And I'll report on those afterwards that, how they went, because, I feel people like me, like to look into these things and figure out if there's maybe a better way to do things, or what's the preferred way to get things done. The other thing about this service is that this, compared to Instacart, actually did come in a bit cheaper, because it seems that, with these shopping services, that they're trying to make use of it, like, buying, things on sale or in bulk and stuff like that, so that, it does bring the price down. Whereas, if you go through Instacart, they just take whatever the current price is at the store. So, I'm hoping that, we'll save a little bit of money here again, and that it won't be any different than what we've done for previous trips with getting food delivered to the room.
Nice.
Yeah. And then as far as, so you were talking about dining reservations earlier. So we do have 2 dining reservations set up this time. On our last trip, because of, there's a little hurricane that happened.
Yeah, you did have a natural disaster occurring.
Yeah. It kind of messed up some of our plans. So we've really wanted to go back to Garden Grill. We haven't done Garden Grill in years. So we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be doing 50s Primetime Diner.
Nice.
So those are our 2 sit-down reservations for this trip, because as we said before, the thing is I don't like doing a ton of those reservations because they are a lot of food, and it sounds great until you realize that after you've had like 1 or 2 of them that you just can't eat that much food. So, so we're doing that. And then outside of that, we had talked previously about the Festival of the Arts, the different booths. So, me and my family actually sat down and we went through the app, nice. Which works great. And we've actually, so my wife and my son kind of made their own profile and I made my profile because, I like different food than they do. And, I try all the weird stuff, but, so we're going to actually do that. And our plan is actually to, we're going to be doing a lot of park hopper days this time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Because what we found is that, we do like, we like visiting all of the parks. So we are planning to hit all 4 parks. The ones though that don't hold our attention as long is Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. And it's not because, it's not because Animal Kingdom is a bad park. Hollywood Studios, it has the same problem as Universal, that most of the rides there are not something that my entire family can do. So I don't want to spend a lot of time there. Yeah. Like we actually talked about it and, or we didn't just talk about it. We actually sat down, we looked through like all the different rides and we even talked about, things like, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So my wife, unfortunately has issues with dizziness and all that. And we were kind of on the fence about it. And I did some research on the ride and we ultimately decided that she's not going to do it. So what our plan is that we've heard that the pre-show and everything is really good. So she's going to come through the line with us. But when we go to get on the ride, she's going to ask to step out and leave, which, that's great for that ride. But then I started thinking about it and I actually went through the rest of the rides at Hollywood Studios and I realized that there's really nothing there that she can actually enjoy. Like there's a couple of shows that she could go watch, but outside of that, there's no rides like in the other parks, something like the People Mover where she can enjoy it. So what we've decided is that we're going to do the half day at Hollywood Studios and then we're going to go back to EPCOT. So we're actually going to have multiple days at EPCOT, which for the intent of, the Festival of the Arts booths, it does give us more opportunity to go and try more of the things there because our plan is, we'll be there to the afternoon, the evening. So we'll stop for dinner at these different booths. So that's the plan right now is that we're going to be doing like half days in the morning, going to these different parks. And then we're going to end up probably back at EPCOT the majority of the time because, why would you not hang out at EPCOT?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last thing again, we talked about this before, but we do have an after hours event scheduled at Magic Kingdom, which is the day after Super Bowl, which I'm hoping. So I didn't plan for this, but we're going to be there during Super Bowl, which I don't know. I'll be honest. I have no idea how much this is going to affect anything. I would assume that, the day of Super Bowl, people are not, or people who want to go watch Super Bowl do so. They don't care about the parks, but I know after the day after there's usually the parade with the, whoever won, they
might be doing that at Disneyland, right? Though, because the game is in Vegas, so they might be doing Disneyland.
It is in Vegas. Okay. So that's what I was kind of wondering about. I'm like, is there gonna be people there? But this is the problem is that I do not pay attention to Super Bowl at all.
What, so you don't pay attention to any sports? What?
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch sports. So it's, it means nothing to me until a bunch of people show up in Magic Kingdom and I'm wondering why it's so busy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we'll see how that all plays out. Like I said, it's not going to be a big deal, I feel, but it may make 1 or 2 days a little bit busier than we anticipated. But I also feel like the fact that we have the after hours event and all that I feel that will offset it because, typically the after hours events are nowhere near as busy. And we ended up settling on the Magic Kingdom one because that, you know, it's the most amount of rides you can get in for, you know, because we care about rides, you know, so it's the most amount of rides, and also it'll give us an opportunity. Like, I'm still going to most likely Lightning Lane Tron once, but it'll give us another opportunity to do it as well.
Are you going to do that for Rise too, or no? Because I know you haven't gotten on Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Rise yet. We're kind of on the fence about it because, like I said, I don't know how much time we're going to spend in Hollywood Studios, and I guess it depends. Like, if it's like I can get a Lightning Lane and it's like reasonably like middle of the day or, you know, morning, yes. But if it's like, if I have to come back in the afternoon, and like I said, you know, if we're going to be only there for half of a day and then leaving, I don't want it to be that, you know, oh, there's a Lightning Lane at 4:00 and I'm just hanging around, or having to come back to Hollywood Studios at 4:00 just for that. Because
I figured that ride would be a priority for you since you hadn't gone on it yet and it's been open for so long.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is that it's kind of, other rides have taken precedence over it in my head because and part of this is because of the fact that we got Star Wars'd out a while ago. That like we went to Galaxy's Edge. We've done it, and you know, everything but Rise. Like you know, we've seen everything else that it offers, and so I'm kind of at a point where it's like, yeah, I will go there for that if the opportunity arises. And even on our last trip, it was like, you know, we were disappointed that the hurricane, you know, caused us to miss it, but it was not like we weren't that hurt about it. And the thing is that other rides in my mind have, like I said, have Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy to me have kind of taken front seat over Rise. so as long as I can ride Guardians and as long as I can get on Tron, those are kind of my two big priorities. And Rise is kind of a nice to have at this moment.
Wow. Yeah. No, because I mean, that's surprising. But I mean, I will tell you, I think you know, Rise is extraordinarily cool, even though it's been open for a while now. It's still very cool to me.
I don't doubt it, but yeah. I'm just not prioritizing it, I guess, as much as other rides.
That's fair. Yeah. You can always rope drop it, I guess. I mean, if you guys plan on being in the parks that early.
Yeah, that was kind of our plan at first, but then I realized, or we were thinking about Mickey and Minnie's as well, and then we realized, oh yeah, you know, between the two, we should probably rope drop Mickey and Minnie's because, you know, if my wife is coming with us, it's like, you know, we can go and we can experience that, and then yeah, kind of wait and see what happens with Rise. Like, I know it sounds backwards, but it's just because, like, I'm not as hyped about Star Wars stuff right now. So to me, it's like, it's not the big thing in my head that I have to go and see it right now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, you know, I'm never really all that hyped about Star Wars. Like, I just enjoyed it as a ride. So
yeah,
you know,
and that's fair. But I feel like there's enough new rides going on.
Yeah,
that I don't have to like. It's not in that place that it was back when it first opened, because like when it first opened, it was like that was the new thing. Like you know, it was before Guardians.
Things open since then,
and so now that there's like so many different things, I'm like, you know, I don't need to like put myself out to do that, because part of it too is, you know, we're obviously doing a lot of stuff, but it is still a vacation.
Of course.
And I don't want to go and make myself miserable trying to get to this one ride when I could be doing other things. And and it's not just me either. Like, it's my son and my wife, like, you know, we'll see how things play out. We'll most likely get on it. But if something happened where it just didn't work out again, that, you know, we couldn't get on it, I think we've all kind of accepted that, you know, if we miss it, we miss it, and we'll try next time.
Gotcha.
Because yeah, it's not worth making it bad for everybody. And again, like, you know, I don't want it to be one of those things where, you know, we're hanging around at Hollywood Studios and none of us really want to be there just to ride this ride, right? So
I gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. And then like I mentioned earlier when Dani was on, we are we are planning to go to Blizzard Beach. It entirely, I mean, I know we're Canadian and you all think we're crazy, but
I don't think you're crazy. I get it.
Yeah, but if it's a cooler day, we still may not go. Like we've kind of left that day open as we'll go to Blizzard Beach, but if it's not looking like it's going to be, very warm that day, or if it's going to be like, raining or whatever, we may just end up going to Magic Kingdom because, because even though, we can deal with cold, you still don't want to like,
you still don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Being in the rain at a water park is, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's because it's like, like the wind gets cold and stuff that it's not as fun as you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah, so that's kind of what we got lined up here for the next week, and we'll see how it goes. And I won't be here next week, obviously, to record, and we get back the next weekend. So I'll be 2 weeks out before I'm back to report on how this went.
I actually think we might not have a show that weekend, 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Because I am also going to be away. So
right, and Damon, Damon's
I think we're all going to be. I think we all have plans that weekend. So I think we may not have a show that week, or we may try to pre-record something. But we're going to have to see.
Well, yeah, you and Damon will have to figure that out. I mean, because I'm not.
Yeah, because you're not going to be. Yeah, no, you don't bother.
I'm not bringing out my laptop or anything, so I won't be able to record.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay,
unless you want like a weird phone recording, I could, record something and send it to you. I don't know.
I am very much looking forward to your to you doing like Moana and like the whole middle section of EPCOT now, and doing some of the other new stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's we'll definitely be in there, and like I said, we're going to have an extended amount of time in EPCOT, so I feel like we'll have plenty of time to really like just go and explore these things and not be too rushed to get it done quick, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we only have a couple news items this week that I want to talk about, and I find it weird that I put on a wedding thing, but with the middle of EPCOT reopened, now they're doing it as a wedding venue in the World Celebration Gardens, and this picture that they shared looks amazing.
It's it looks so pretty. Like, I'll be honest, like that does look amazing. Like the fact that the chairs are that like transparent plastic or whatever. I'm assuming they'll be plastic chairs.
They're transparent. Yeah, I doubt they'd be like glass, right? Like those. But
and the lighting and that would be an amazing wedding venue.
Absolutely. Especially, I mean, like, listen, this also probably would cost a fortune. I have no idea how much it costs, but it's like a lot of money, right? Like, because you see some people do will do the weddings at Disney, and like it's the ones where they rent at the park. Like you can do it at the wedding venue for, we actually priced it out when we were looking for us, and it wasn't. It was expensive, but it wasn't that much more expensive than what we were already doing. But like, if you want to do one of these things where you're like, taking up a big part of the park, those cost a lot of money. So, but I mean, like, listen, if I had the money and I was getting like, renewing my vows or getting remarried or something, like, it'd be amazing. Like, that would be awesome.
Now, so yeah, if it's during regular park hours, I assume it would be expensive. Do you suppose that the prices don't get quite as bad if you're planning like because some of these they'll do like either early morning or after the park closes kind of thing,
right?
Yeah, like
maybe
like because in the off season the park closures are a lot earlier. I mean, it's not like you'd still be having a wedding at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but, you would. Yeah. Oh, I'm just looking at their website too. They actually do it in the front of EPCOT too. So like in front of the fountain there, which I did not know. So that's pretty cool too. All these things. I don't think they have any like prices listed out. Oh, you can do it in Pandora too. Really? Okay.
That's a choice.
Yeah. That way. I mean, listen, if you're like, I'm sure there are some people that are huge, Pandora. I mean, huge Avatar fans, and
Well, I mean, even outside of that, I mean, it does make for an interesting, like, otherworldly venue, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It does. It does. There's some cool venues that they have for sure. I mean, we talked about this before, like when you could do it. You could do a ceremony inside some of the rides, like the Great Movie Ride. You could actually, have like a reception on the track, like which is cool, but also probably costs a fortune. So
yeah.
But no, I just saw this picture and I was like, we are not the show probably to talk about wedding stuff, but man, does that look cool. I know we're the show to talk about anything Epcot. So,
I mean, to be fair, when we were there for the meetup, there was actually somebody having a wedding at Epcot.
That's right.
When we were there. So
that's right. As we were walking into the International Gateway off the Skyliner, there was a lot of people very, very well dressed.
Yeah, and it's, you're right that we're not the place to talk about this regularly, but it's definitely good for us to bring it up from time to time because people aren't always aware of exactly how many different, like, everyone assumes you're having a wedding at Disney, it's like in front of the Magic Kingdom or in front of Cinderella's castle, right?
Yeah.
But to this point, there are a ton of different places where they can offer weddings. So, I wouldn't, if you're in that mode of wedding planning, or, you're helping somebody plan a wedding and they have money to spend,
they have lots of money.
Yeah, there is a lot of options, and even like just looking at it, like on the website, they list Florida, California, Hawaii, and the cruise lines are all open for weddings. So
if you have the money, right?
Yeah. I think the cruises are along would
cool.
Probably be the cheapest ones of the lot.
You think so? I mean, but then all your guests have to pay for a cruise, though, right? Like, so
yeah. I mean, but I guess if you're, but you could, or I guess what I've seen before is people plan like the wedding / vacation, or at least in my family, like people would. A couple of my cousins did this where they got married in Mexico, but everybody coming was like, oh, hey, we're here for your wedding, but also this is a vacation. So it was like they did the wedding and then the bride and groom, went off and did their thing, but then everyone else had their own vacation planned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah,
cool.
Right.
So last but not least, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Pixar Place hotel opening. Got a lot of pictures of what it looks like. And listen, I don't necessarily know what it looks like before, but it looks really nice. They themed it very well. And I have to say, I love the fact that they have Bing Bong as a character that you can meet.
I don't know.
You don't want to meet Bing Bong? What? Why wouldn't you want to meet Bing Bong?
That whole thing with Bing Bong was kind of traumatic.
That's the part of the movie that gets everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know if I could, meeting Bing Bong would be like, hey,
Bing Bong. No, but listen, but before Bing Bong disappears, okay, wait, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. If you haven't seen Inside Out, just skip ahead here, but before Bing Bong disappears, he's a fun
10-year-old.
I mean,
spoilers, but yeah.
Listen, people get mad about it, like, oh, who's gonna watch that? Like, okay, well, you had a long time to do it at this point,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, the hotel renovations definitely it definitely updated it. It looks a lot nicer. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of nice too that they are bringing in a character like Bing Bong, because they are theming according to the fact that it's Pixar, and also having a unique character tied to the hotel, I think helps justify the hotel's identity. Yeah.
Also, too, they have the guy from Soul too. They have a guy that's like playing that character, playing piano, which I think is cool. I have not seen Soul yet, actually. That one's on my list. So. I'm just really digging all the arts that they have on the walls, and all the different, it looks very nice. Like I said, I like, especially like the concept sketches that they do, like that's some really cool stuff. And, those probably came directly from Pixar. Like they probably are real sketches that they actually did.
Across the street from the Pixar animation studio. It's not literally across the street, but
yeah, it's not. Down the road. Well, not really. Even Pixar is a little bit further away, but anyway. But I mean, like I said, I'm liking the pictures of this. They also mentioned too that they're going to be opening 2-bedroom suites in there too. 2-bedroom themed signature suites will be available in later 2024. So,
that is interesting because I guess they're not expecting nearly as much volume going through that hotel, because it used to be that hotel was, I mean, it was the cheapest of the 3 Disneyland hotels. But the fact that they're offering 2 bedrooms, I wonder if they're trying to get it kind of on the same level as the Disneyland hotel, or make people stop thinking of it as the cheap option.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all of this looks, I mean, and then again, I'm not in the rooms, but I mean, it doesn't feel like the cheap option to me. You know, it looks very nice.
I mean, Pixar Pier. So when it was Pixar Pier versus the Grand Californian, in terms of the rooms, it was the Pixar Pier felt closer to some of the Good Neighbor hotels, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I've stayed in the Good Neighbor hotels as well, which, at Disneyland, it's right across the street, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, you could tell the difference between a Disney hotel and a non-Disney hotel trying to be a Disney hotel. And Pixar Pier felt like the latter, or not Pixar, or Paradise Pier. Sorry,
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I'm hopeful that with everything or the work they put into to bring this up to their standard, Disney does need to do that. And, the fact that they're doing it is, as much as people love to get on Disney sometimes for, they're cheapening stuff or they're cutting corners or whatever. This is a lot of work. Redoing a hotel like this, it's not just a coat of paint that they did. Like, I think that's the thing that some people don't understand, is that this is a lot of work. And then also, reconfiguring the rooms to 2 bedrooms, that's pretty big too. So.
Well, one's gonna be themed to Coco, and the others are gonna be Incredibles themed, which is cool. I like that they're theming them to specific things. So
I wonder if the Incredibles ones will follow the similar aesthetic to the contemporary rooms.
It says it will have a mid-century design with a spy-fi twist. So whatever that means.
Okay.
Whatever that means. Yeah. So anyway, this looks like, a really well done, overhaul of this resort. So, I don't know if anybody stayed there or going to stay there, let us know. We would love to hear about it. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not selling anybody on staying there, because I keep talking about how much I didn't enjoy it, but
yeah. It's like, I understand, but all right, well, that's all I got. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, enjoy your trip. I mean,
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's our last trip was good. Hurricane aside and everything, we still had a really good last trip, and I'm really looking forward to getting on Guardians again.
I'm sure. I know you enjoyed it a lot. So
yeah, it's weird that. There's very few rides that I go out of my way for like that. Oh, wow. And it was such like a sleeper thing that, like, the first time we did it, I was like, I wasn't, I kind of had a little bit of Damon in the back of my head. I'll be honest.
Where, really? You were down on it? You're low. Well,
I wasn't down on it. I was tempering my expectations that I was like, maybe it won't be as good as I think. And then we got on it, and it was just so good. Like, we had so much fun on it that, my son was like, "Can we do that again?" When a teenager says, "Can we do that again?" It's good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, no, I think I told you when my sister got off that ride, she told me it was like her favorite roller coaster she's ever been on, and she was like, "It's kind of weird to even describe it as a roller coaster." She's like, "It's just so different," and
it is a roller coaster, but yeah, it's got a lot. It's such an experience, right? Like it's got the sum of its parts are bigger than the individual, right? You can't just say like it's a it's just a coaster. It's like, yeah, but they're doing the way the music syncs, the visuals, everything, like it's got that Disney flair that, people,
that Disney flair. I like it.
That people like that Disney flair. I like that Disney flair.
That Disney flair. Yeah, I like it. So let's wrap up then.
Yeah. So as usual, for anything you've heard on the show, if you guys want to ask us questions, if you want to share your own trip reports, stuff like that, you can always reach out to us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. So, keep the conversation going. In that same vein, if you're on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, you can find our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, and hop in there and see all the great conversation we have. There's, Francisco, I saw your memes this week, by the way.
Killing it on the memes this week, Francisco.
He really came hard this week. I was a little surprised.
Both me and you.
Yeah, he did. I appreciate that. So, if you want to join in on the memes, but also, there's great conversation. People talking about, 3-bedroom grand villas versus 2 bedrooms, because Tom started that conversation. There's there's lots of great stuff going on in the group. So make sure you guys come and hang out with us because we love talking about Disney in there. And if you want to help support the show, you can also go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our different shirts and mugs and stuff. It's stuff that we have that, if you're, wanting some shirts for your next trip, or, you just need a fanny pack because they're stylish now, grab yourself a Welcome Home fanny pack and, send us a pic of it because we love seeing that too when people are rocking the merchandise. Yep. And in the same vein, we also have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod. You can check out our different levels of Patreon support, and it has exclusive merch that you can only get through Patreon, and all of our Patreon supporters also get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we have great conversations about all the stuff we talk on the show and other, random Disney stuff and even non-Disney stuff. So if that sounds interesting to you and you like Discord, come check us out there as well. And on iTunes or Spotify, if you're listening to this, leave us a 5-star review. It does help more people find the show because just how those platforms work, more stars is better. We want all the stars. So, it's like Mario Party, when you're trying to collect all the stars. We're like that. We just want all the stars. So
give us as many as you can. Yeah. I like the sympathy stars at the end. Those stars, the extra stars.
I landed on all the red spaces star. Yeah,
I always hate those stars so much. It was mess up the whole game.
But we want the good stars. So leave us a 5-star review, and on iTunes, if you want to, you can write us a review. We love seeing those. We read them out on the show. So if we got those, we'll read them out at the end of the episode here. I don't know if we had any new ones this week, Tom. Or
I mean, there's a 5-star review up there, but I don't know if I want to read it.
Okay.
Somebody doesn't care for Damon. But at least they gave us a 5-star review. I appreciate that.
I guess it's not fair to, read about Damon.
No, I don't want to talk about him when he's not here. That's not fair to him. Because if he were here, I would just read it anyway. So, but don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us, just search for Welcome Home and, look for the one that's about Disney. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult your DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our the sponsor of this episode, DVC Rental Store, but also to Dani from DVC Resale Market for being on the show today and telling us all about what's going on with DVC. Really appreciate it. Yeah, It's funny. It's always we talk about having guests all the time, and it's hard to have some guests, right? Because not all guests get us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like some guests that don't really know what we're doing and are confused by this, but Dani gets it. She's cool. She fits right in with us. So I appreciate that she came on and talked to us about that stuff. So, and she's super knowledgeable too, obviously. So reach out to Dani. What's that?
Yeah, totally. And make sure you guys reach out to Dani.
Yeah. Join us next time for more Disney Park discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no